Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Talking Sports with Manny. On this episode, we talk about the Lakers shooting woes, we talk about the Rockets red hot shooting, and we talk about Dame time. Woo! The dude is so clutch. Hope you guys enjoy this episode. So, guys, the first game we are going to dissect is the Rockets versus the OKC Thunder. Man, the Rockets are one of the best shooting three-point teams in the league. I know on my last few episodes, I said that Miami has the best group of shooters. I'm going to renege on that. I think it's the Rockets just because of the volume. Mike D'Antoni loves to shoot the three. He loves to shoot free throws, and then he loves layups. If you shoot a mid-range jumper, he probably is going to find you, and you're probably going to be missing some game checks. Nah, just kidding. But Mike D'Antoni does not love the mid-range shot. It's not part of his philosophy. So let's kind of dissect this game. Let's look at the numbers. So the Rockets won this game 123-108. The score looks decent, but at the end, there was some garbage, some garbage time play. So people were able to kind of pad their stats in the fourth quarter. Now, let's look at OKC. Their top three guys is Gallinari, Steven Adams, and CP3. Now, it's debatable that SGA is one of their top three players, but at the end of the day, he's still a very young player and does not have playoff experience. So, for that aspect alone, I'll give it to Gallinari, Adams, and Chris Paul. Chris Paul had a very good game. He had 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists. And he played pretty good defense versus James Harden. I was really intrigued to see this matchup because it's kind of like, okay, the Rockets traded Chris Paul. Now he's led the OKC Thunder to where they are now. So the problem was never Chris Paul in Houston. It was literally that Chris Paul's style did not mesh with what Houston was trying to do. But then you go bring in Russell Westbrook, who is totally different from Chris Paul. But we're going to get into the Houston aspect of this in a minute. So Gallinari had 29 points. He was very, very solid. I watched some of this game. It's kind of hard to watch these games when you're getting off work. But Adams had 17 points and 12 rebounds. But then when you look at it, they shot 44% from the field, which is not necessarily bad, but then they shot 37% from the three. What teams try to do is they try to match Houston with three-point shooting. You can't do that. You try to limit them as much as you can. With Houston, your best bet is chasing them off the three-point line and making them two-point shooters, making them take that mid-range shot that they don't like to take, or make them take layups, because when they're shooting threes at a high clip and when they're making it, it's so hard to beat them. Now, you look at the OKC bench. They didn't get zero production. I mean, literally, Muscala 3 points, Basley 9 points in 17 minutes, which is not bad. Shot 3 for 4. He was their best three-point shooter that day. Schroeder was non-existent, man. He had 32 minutes. He shot 3 for 12 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3. That cannot happen. You need Dennis Schroeder to be close to a 20-point scorer as much as possible. And with them running a three-guard set of Chris Paul, SGA, and Schroeder, you definitely need more than 6 points out of Schroeder. Diallo was airballing, man. I seen this guy airball 2 threes. He was terrible. 7 points. So literally, you got nothing from the bench. And even Basley, it might have been that fourth quarter garbage play. I didn't catch the fourth quarter. It was so bad that I turned it off. I said, you know what? I'm going to Netflix and I'm watching Moesha. I'm not watching this terrible fourth quarter. So it wasn't a good game for OKC at all. But it's just game one, and I do credit them for getting to where they are at this point. Now let's talk about Houston. Houston scored 123 points, okay? Out of that 123 points, they made 23s, which is 60 points. So 60 points from 3, and they were able to make 20 free throws, okay? So that's another 20 points right there from the free throw line. Sorry, 17 points from the free throw line. So with the 60 and the 17, you see that the majority of their points is coming from threes, like I mentioned, and free throws. They do not shoot mid-range jumpers. Now, I guarantee you the remaining of their points were layups. Okay, James Harden is instrumental to running Houston's offense. Even though Russell Westbrook did not play, he's probably going to miss another game, maybe 2 more games. But even without Russell Westbrook, they have enough to beat OKC. James Harden was phenomenal as always. He had 37 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. Wasn't able to really create for everybody else. Maybe people were missing shots, but James Harden did what James Harden do. He shot very well from 3. He was 6 for 13. Which is almost 50%. Houston as a team shot 38% from 3. And OKC shot 37%. But the thing is that Houston shoots a lot of threes, so they make a lot of threes. They shot 52, they made 20 of them. They shot 48% from the field in general. Jeff Green had a huge game off the bench. He had 22 points. He was 8 for 12 shooting, 3 for 7 from the 3, 6 big rebounds. Jeff Green was literally their MVP. McLemore had a great game. Came in the game, 24 minutes, gave him 14 points, made 4 threes. Who else made threes besides Harden and Green and McLemore? Eric Gordon played. He started. He didn't have necessarily a great shooting game, but it wasn't a bad one either. He shot 2 for 6 from 3, but he did have a big 21 points. They love to spread the ball. They love to shoot. House is always solid. When House is not hitting threes, he's always playing defense. House had 9 points, and Tucker had 11 points, making 3 out of 8 from the corner. I say corner because all PJ Tucker does is sit in that corner and wait for that 3-point shot. They didn't necessarily rebound well. James Harden led them in rebounding. Playing this small ball thing is just working out for them. It's still weird to me. Houston had 36 rebounds to OKC's 47. So we'll see what happens in the next game. But OKC has some work to do, man. They're going to have to find a way to maybe let James Harden go off, but then shut down everybody else. Jeff Green cannot come in and give you 22. McLemore cannot come in and give you 14. And these are just bench guys. So if these guys are giving you this kind of production, for OKC, it's bad. And for Houston, obviously, they're loving it. So great first game for Houston. Let's see what happens in game 2. Hey, guy, this is your boy, Manny. Ever wanted to make a podcast, but you never really knew how? Anchor is the key. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast to places such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. Also, you can make money from your podcast right away. You don't need no minimum listenership to start making money. Everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. So go ahead and get started today. Download the Anchor app at the App Store or go to anchor.fm to get started. The second game I want to talk about is the Miami Heat versus the Indiana Pacers. The Miami Heat won this game 113 to 101. We all were excited to see Jimmy Butler versus TJ Warren. Jimmy Butler telling TJ Warren, you're weak. You can't play. You're soft. You're trash. We wanted some of that fire. We wanted some of that passion. But guess what? We didn't get it. But it's okay, though, because this is still going to be a good series. This is a series that I think is the second best series in this first round. My first is that Clippers and Mavs. And then my second favorite is the Miami Heat and the Indiana Pacers. So This game, we saw why Bam Adebayo was an all-star this year. He had 17 points. He had 10 rebounds and six assists. And I'm starting to see that Bam is a player that the coach is trusting, man. You know, the coach is trusting this guy to literally, he'll get a rebound and he'll dribble, get into the offense and create for everybody else. He also had 3 blocks, man. He was out there doing his thing. And Miles Turner, like, I don't even know why Miles Turner is even a starter in the NBA. I just cannot put that together. Yes, Miles Turner gets blocks, but he is always getting destroyed by smaller players. I don't know why it continues to happen over and over and over again. But Jimmy Butler had a huge game. He had 28 points. He shot 8 for 15 from the field. Very efficient. Had 2 threes. He made 10 free throws. He was getting to the line. 4 assists and 4 steals, 2 blocks. That's an amazing stat line. And if you play fantasy, daily fantasy, and had Jimmy Butler as your captain, you probably won. You probably made some money. Jay Crowder was solid as always. Gave him a solid 8 points, 40% from the 3. Dragic had 4 threes, shot 9 for 19 from the field, 24 points. And in that fourth quarter, man, I was just seeing Dragic just drain 3 after 3 after 3, man. Dragic was just that dude, man. He had also 6 rebounds and 5 assists. All around, great game from Dragic. Robinson had 6 points. It's not your typical Duncan Robinson game, but, you know, he did try to shoot. You know, he's never shy of shooting. He shot 2 for 8, but he's one of the most accurate shooters in the NBA this season, so he's not going to go 2 for 8 every single game. But Dragic and Bam and Butler literally just led this team. Shout out to Tyler Hero off the bench. He played 34 minutes, 34 big minutes, gave them 15 points, was able to get some rebounds and some assists. This guy can really shoot the ball, although he didn't shoot great from the three-point line yesterday, but he really just gave them that punch that they needed. He was that 4th scorer that Miami needed to put this game away. Let's look on the Pacers side. TJ Warren, the few games that he's played against the Pacers, he didn't necessarily play well, but this one he had a good game. Yeah, he shot 9 for 18 from the field, 4 for 5 from the three-point line, and 22 points, 22 big points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals. So literally, I mean, he had just as good of a game as Jimmy Butler. You know, when you're really looking at it, he gave you, steals and blocks and, I apologize. He didn't give you any blocks, but he did give you 4 steals. So TJ Warren played as good or as great as he could, but they just could not get over the hump. In the fourth quarter, they didn't score enough points, obviously. Brogdon, who to me was a shooter when he played with the Bucks last year, I was thinking he was going to come to the Pacers and be a huge factor. He has not been that much of a factor in terms of shooting, but he did have a good game yesterday. He had 22 points. He had 9 free throws, which is big, and he had 10 assists. Okay, so their 2 top players played very well. Oladipo got hurt. Okay, he played 9 minutes. Oladipo was a guy that I felt if he's healthy, he's a 18 to 20 point kind of guy. And literally he's been their leader and their star, for the last few years. But now it's kind of like leaning towards TJ Warren. But I don't know if TJ Warren can put an impact on the game like Oladipo can. Oladipo's a guy who's unique, who can break down the defense, score, and create for everybody else. It seems like TJ Warren is just more so a killer scorer. We're seeing an amazing TJ Warren in these bubble games. And off the bench, you had Holiday, who came in and had 4 for 4 from the field, 3 for 3 from 3 with 11 points. And then you had Sampson, who gave them 10 points. But it was not enough. I'm going to need more out of McDermott. I'm going to need more out of TJ McConnell. I'm going to need more out of Sumner and the rest of these guys. Somebody has to step up and say, hey, I want to play, okay? I'm not seeing anything out of Miles Turner. Like I said earlier, I don't know why he's even starting. I don't know if he's going to be a free agent soon, but to me, there's nothing special about Miles Turner. Yes, every year he's getting you 2 blocks a game, but are your blocks affecting the game? Are your blocks impact or just stats? So that's something to think about. So we're going to see what the coach does. If Oladipo does not play in game 2, man, boy, they're going to need more than 101 points to win. They're going to literally need to shore up their defense. Indiana's a smart team to where they've always played well with injuries. They're well coached, but you're going to need more out of Holiday. Holiday's going to need to take more than 4 shots. If you're 4 for 4 from the field, why is it that you stop shooting? You continue to shoot. You continue to shoot. Run some offense for Holiday. Okay? Justin Holiday. Okay? Not Aaron Holiday, but Justin Holiday. I mean, if he's out there shooting like he was shooting, then give him more opportunity. Give him the green light. That's all I'm saying. So let's see what happens in game 2. Let's see if the Pacers can even this thing out. The good thing about the bubble is that there's no fans, there's no crowd. So it's literally bring your A game. People have said that the bubble has created a great avenue for shooters. Shooters are calling this thing a shooter's gym. So I want to see the shooters on the Pacers come out, perform, and score some buckets. The next game I want to talk about is the Orlando Magic versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Ding, 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 ding. Upset alert, upset alert, upset alert. The Orlando Magic, the 8th seed in the East, just upset the Milwaukee Bucks, who have the best record in the NBA. How does that happen? Well, I'm going to tell you how that happens. That was a great question you just asked me. So when we look at the game, Orlando played out of their minds. Orlando played the best game they've ever played in their entire lives, in my opinion. Gary Clark came out of nowhere. Now, mind you, Aaron Gordon did not play in this game, but Gary Clark came in this game and he had 15 big points. He shot 4 for 12 from the field. He shot all threes, okay? He hit 4 big threes, and that literally set the tempo. He also had 6 rebounds and 1 steal. He's a guy that I'm glad that he's finally found a home. He's a guy that has always had talent, but he just never really found the opportunity. He played some pretty good games for Houston, I believe, last season, but I'm glad to see him get minutes, and I'm glad to see him have an impact. James Ennis played very good defense yesterday, as well as having a good 11 points. He was 3 for 5 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3. He had 8 big rebounds. So now you get an impact from guys like Clark and Ennis. Then we get into Markelle Fultz, who I'm glad that this guy has found a home. His jumper is still ugly, but guess what? He gets it done. It goes inside the basket. And that's literally all that matters. He had a big 15 points and 6 assists. Glad to see him playing well. A guy who was picked number 1 overall to be on a second team already, and his rookie contract is not yet out. It's just a testament to how hard he has worked on his game. Evan Fournier did not have a good game, but he did come up when he was needed, which was in the 4th quarter. Towards the end of the game, he started hitting these clutch threes that kind of put the game away. He had 9 points. He had 5 assists. So for the Orlando Magic, they don't really have a traditional point guard, although that Markelle Fultz is filling that role as that point guard. I take that back, because before it's always been the DJ Augustine show. Speaking of DJ Augustine, he had a great game. He had 11 points, 11 assists off the bench in only 23 minutes. Didn't shoot the ball necessarily well, but guess what? He made plays when he needed to make plays. He was that steady guy. He only had 2 turnovers. So when you have a point guard of his caliber, a point guard who was a veteran, who can control the game and not turn over the ball, that was literally the difference of this game. Although that the Magic and the Bucks didn't turn over the ball much, but it was still good to have the ball in DJ Augustine's hands for some of those moments. The MVP for me for Orlando was Terrence Ross. He came in the game, he shot 7 for 13 from the field, then didn't make a 3, but it doesn't matter. He had 6 rebounds, and he had 18 points. 18 big points. When you're getting 18 points out of Terrence Ross, when you're getting 18 to 20 out of him, you have a great chance to win. Now, let's get to the man of the hour, the guy who stole the show, the guy who made Giannis Antetokounmpo not look all that big. We're talking about the 7-footer, the massive Nikolai Vujacic. He had 35 points, 14 rebounds, and he also had 4 assists. This guy was just all over the field. He shot 5 for 8 from 3. If Nikolai Vujicic is giving you 5 threes in a game, then you best believe that they probably won that game. We get into the Bucks stats. The Bucks didn't play well. Giannis, of course, was Giannis. He had 31 points. He shot 7 threes. He made 3 of them, but every 3 that he shot was ugly. He did not have a good shooting from the free throw line. It's 4 out of 9. He has to clean that up. He did have 17 rebounds and 7 assists, which is a typical Giannis Antetokounmpo type of game. Maybe you need to let him run the point even more, okay? Bledsoe was okay. He had 15 points. He had 5 assists. I don't even know what his impact was on defense, to be honest. Like, Eric Bledsoe has just not been the player that the Bucks have hoped and wished that they would have had. I thought they should have kept Michael Brogdon instead of Eric Bledsoe. That's just my personal opinion. Wesley Matthews gave him good shooting, had 10 points. Middleton, I'm calling you. Answer the phone. Middleton, where are you? Nobody have seen you in these bubble games yet. Nobody have seen you in the playoffs. It's been 2 years. So I need you to step up your game. 14 points is not enough. You got to step it up, okay? Brook Lopez was non-existent. He had 5 points. That's not enough. You need more points than that, okay? And then also you have George Hill out there who had 16 points. That's good, but, you're going to need more. You're going to need more minutes out of George Hill. 16 points, 5 of 9 shooting. That's pretty good. Kyle Korver came in, hit a shot, and then he got hit in the nose. Okay, Pat Connaughton and Devin Chinzo, what are y'all doing? Y'all supposed to be shooters. Y'all shot, 2 for 10 combined. That cannot happen. So you need more out of Devin Chinzo and Connaughton. You need Korver getting more minutes. You need George Hill getting more minutes, because if guys like Wesley Matthews and Bledsoe are not getting it done, then you got to switch it up, and then you got to go with what you know. The Bucks did not look good in this game, and this cannot happen. You're losing to the Orlando Magics, who are not supposed to be doing this. They're not supposed to be doing this to you. So let's see what happens next game. Let's see if Middleton earns his money. Let's see if Middleton steps up and becomes that all-star caliber player that these guys want. All right, let's get to the final game that I'm going to talk about. This is a game between the Portland Trailblazers versus the Los Angeles Lakers. This was a game to where I thought that the Portland Trailblazers were going to be tired after fighting to get to the point that they are now. I was wrong on my prediction. I said a sweep for the Lakers, and I had my reasons. I thought that the Lakers were going to come out and smash these guys, and then kind of put all these noise and all this talk away, but they were not able to do that. So here's what happened. Let's start with Collins not being available, Zach Collins. So Zach Collins was not available. So my prediction was, I predicted AD to have 30 points and 15 rebounds. That did not happen. Then I predicted LeBron to have a 25-point triple-double. I missed it by 2 points. LeBron had a 23-point triple-double. Then I predicted Kyle Kuzma to have 25 points, and he only had 14. So those are my predictions. It's fun to make predictions, but I did stand by my statement. People were hitting me up on Twitter yesterday saying, yo, what happened to your sweep? What happened to your sweep? Okay, didn't happen. So the Trailblazers won this game 100-93. The Lakers have been struggling offensively through these bubble games since being in Orlando. So the shooting woes have been terrible, but there is a real thing called Dame time. Damian Lillard has been the hottest player in this restart. The Trailblazers have been the hottest team in this restart. Yes, it's debatable. You can say Phoenix, you can say this team and that team, but Phoenix Suns are not here. So let's talk about the team that is here, which is the Portland Trailblazers. Now, Lillard came off with a great start to the game, and then he didn't score again since the second quarter, all the way till the fourth quarter, which he went crazy. He went bananas. I think the Portland Trailblazers closed the game with 5 back-to-back threes. I mean, it was crazy. Lillard hit 2, CJ McCullough hit 1, Melo hit 1, Gary Trent hit 1, and that was the game. The Lakers didn't shoot well. Portland did. Portland didn't really necessarily have, they didn't have a good shooting game, but guess what? When it mattered, they made them. Okay, Carmelo had 11 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and he did hit that clutch three in the fourth quarter. Gabriel played a good 16 minutes. He couldn't guard AD, but it didn't matter because AD was not attacking him. Melo had 5 fouls, but he wasn't being attacked. Nurkic had 5 fouls. He was not being attacked. So all these guys having 5 fouls, including Whiteside, 5 fouls, was not being attacked. So it's like you have these guys that have 5 fouls and y'all can't foul these guys out. Doesn't make any sense. Nurkic had 16 points and 15 rebounds. A lot of his damage came in the first quarter and the second quarter of the game. The rest of the game, he just pitched in here and there. They were putting him in pick and roll situations to where he couldn't contest. And that was something that I talked about in my predictions of this game. I said that Nurkic would get put into positions to literally guard these guys, and he couldn't do it. Dame, we already know how Dame did. He played amazing. 34 points. He hit 6 for 13 from the three, 10 for 10 from the free throw line. The guy was just phenomenal, just amazing, unbelievable. Had 4 rebounds, 5 assists as well. CJ McCullough came alive in that third quarter. He literally carried the team when Dame was not really doing anything. He came up big for them, a big 21 points, 5 rebounds, and he played tough defense, man. He played defense the best that he could, you know what I'm saying? But the Lakers didn't have great guard play anyway, so opposed to the few times that he was guarding LeBron, I think he played very good defense. Hezonja Hezonja gave him 12 minutes, 2 points. Whiteside gave them 26 minutes, 7 points, 8 rebounds, but a huge 5 blocks. He was literally changing the game for the Trailblazers in that fourth quarter. Gary Trent didn't have a good shooting game, but he hit the 1-3 that mattered. He hit the 3 that kind of put the game away. So that was a big shot, big 5 points for him. The Lakers did not play well, like I said. Offensively, it was AD, who shot 8 for 24 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3. I didn't understand why AD kept shooting threes, man. He was bailing these guys out. Literally, there's nobody on Portland that can guard AD, not even Whiteside, and yet you bail them out with jumpers. He did get to the line, 12 for 17 from the line. That's literally what saved him, because you look at the game that AD had. If it wasn't because of LeBron, AD could not score. He did have 11 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 2 blocks. His impact on the game was not necessarily great. I was not impressed. Was not impressed with AD at all. LeBron had 23 points, 17 rebounds, and 16 assists. That's a great game. That's a great game on paper. But when you look at it, LeBron had a terrible shooting game. He was 1 for 5 from 3. He couldn't really attack and take over the game scoring-wise. Then he was terrible from the free throw line, 4 for 7. So with all that being said, that's not great at all. JaVale McGee did not have an impact. He was in there. JaVale McGee is a guy who only gets literally 15 to 16 minutes a game. He'll never get more than 20 minutes. He's just never been that kind of guy, at least for this system for the Lakers. He had 6 points. He had 8 rebounds. He tried to play some defense. He tried to contest some shots, but he just really didn't even give you the impact that you were looking for. He did have a block in the game, but it's like you need more out of JaVale, especially if you're starting the game. You need a couple of alley-oops for him. When JaVale McGee gets a dunk or two to start the game, he's motivated. So it literally helps that first quarter. There's been fans that are pissed off that Vogel is playing this too big lineup. But to me, I'm thinking JaVale plays the first quarter and then he plays the third quarter. And it's just like 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, or 6 and 7 minutes there, and he's done. He's done for the game. So I'm okay with that, but it's like I wish that JaVale can just give us just a little bit more. He has not been playing well the last 10 to 15 games. I don't know what it is. For me personally, I'd rather have Dwight Howard playing more than JaVale. Anyways, I'd rather have Dwight Howard starting over JaVale McGee, but that's not going to be the case because if you bench a guy like JaVale McGee, he's a guy that feeds off the crowd. He's a guy that's motivated by others. He's not like a self-motivating kind of guy. So you're not going to get a lot of production from JaVale McGee anyways. But I do believe that it would be awesome if Dwight Howard can come into the game sooner. That's definitely going to help the Lakers a lot. Markieff Morris had a decent game. He had 19 minutes. He made both of his shots, one of them being a three-pointer, and he was able to get to the line for an and one. Missed the free throw. He ended up with 5 points. Kyle Kuzma had 30 minutes, 5 for 14 from the field. Shot, his shot wasn't falling, but he was able to make some big shots. He had 14 points and 8 big rebounds. One thing that I would love for the Lakers to do with Kyle Kuzma is when he gets the rebound, push it up. Push it up the court and, create some mismatches that way. They have to get creative on how to use these players. I know that Rondo is probably going to play in game 2, if not game 3. Rajon Rondo is solely needed for that team. I know I have ragged on Rajon Rondo all season, but I'm now seeing that they need that veteran guard. They need that veteran guard that can create for everybody else. Yes, Rondo has his tendencies of not making shots or not playing defense, but he's definitely a piece that can help this current Laker team. Dwight Howard played 15 minutes. He had 4 points, 5 rebounds. Even though he had 4 points, 5 rebounds, his impact on the game was more than 4 points, 5 rebounds. One thing that Dwight Howard needs to do is stop with the stupid fouls. He's always getting stupid fouls, and then he's looking and complaining, why am I getting fouls? If you see Nurkic at the three-point line, why would you go and defend Nurkic and you foul him? If you're fouling Nurkic at the three-point line or Whiteside at the three-point line, it just does not make sense. So the refs are going to pick on you when you're doing stupid things. So if Dwight Howard can literally just cut the stupid fouls, it's just going to help the Lakers a lot. Caruso had a good plus-minus, but overall, offensively, he had a terrible game. He missed all of his three-point shots. But who in the Lakers were actually hitting three-point shots? Everybody was missing. So he had 29 minutes. He had, 3 assists. He had 2 points. He had a few steals here and there. So I believe that Caruso is a guy that he should be starting. Honestly, I'd rather start Caruso than start a guy like Danny Green or even KCP, to be honest. Danny Green was paid $15 million a year to come to the Lakers to play good defense and to make open shots. Danny Green was 2 for 12 from the field, 2 for 8 from the three-point line. KCP was 0 for 9 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3. So the starting guard for the Lakers gave them a whopping 11 points. Okay? They missed a lot of threes. They missed a lot of shots. That's not going to get it done. When you're playing against Dame and CJ, you're going to need KCP with around 10 to 12 points. You're going to need Danny Green to score around 12 to 12 points as well. And then you need JaVale and Dwight to combine for about 10 to 15 points. So there's going to be a lot of changes to be made. Maybe we see Dion Waiters get more minutes. He played 1 minute. And he's a shot maker, scorer, but, he lacks on defensive intensity. Maybe you give Quinn Cook a chance. You got to bring somebody into the game who can make some open shots. So we're going to see what Vogel does. Portland is not scared of the Lakers. Portland has a lot of swag right now. They feel like they can beat the Lakers. So the Lakers cannot go down 0-2 and expect to win this series. So expect a lot of changes in game 2. I expect a LeBron James who is motivated. I expect a LeBron James who's going to come in and score 15 to 20 points in the first half. He needs to set that tempo if the Lakers do not want to get upset in this series. So we'll see what happens in game 2. We'll see if the Blazers continue their play in terms of Lillard doing his thing. We'll see what CJ does. We'll see what Gary Trent does. We'll see what the Lakers do. So this is now a series. I was wrong. I was saying 4. Probably because I'm a Lakers fan, but now I'm seeing that this series can potentially go 6 or 7. I'm hoping it goes 5, obviously, but we're going to see what happens. We got a series now. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Be sure to share this episode with one or somebody, with at least one other person. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at Talking Sports with Manny. My handle is TS with Manny. And then on IG, the same, TS with Manny. I'm on Facebook as well as YouTube, Talking Sports with Manny. Find me. Let's talk sports. I talk sports 24/7. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate the love and support, and y'all be blessed.